Good morning. It's Saturday, November 4th, and today I'm going to talk about another example of how our piss-poor government operates. They don't operate for the benefit of the country or the benefit of the people. They operate for the benefit of themselves and their party and whatever it is. But it's not for the public. It is not an example of how to run your life, how to live an honest, quality life. It's run like a huge criminal enterprise. Santos from Long Island vowed to be a valuable voice in Congress and to continue fighting for his constituents. After a vote to expel him failed on the House floor on Wednesday evening. I continue to fight for the principles and values of the people of New York's 3rd District, the values that they hold dear. That's what Santos said in a statement. And I cannot believe the way this vote went. I don't believe for 1 minute that there's a scintilla in his entire constituency that believes a man as crooked as him should be their representative. But unfortunately, they can't do anything about it. They can't rescind their vote. That's up to the Congress, and the Congress has failed miserably to get rid of this crook. Santos made those remarks after 31 Democrats joined 182 Republicans during this vote to keep Santos in the House. They killed an effort led by New York Republicans to oust a fellow GOP member from the New York congressional delegation. So the New York delegation wanted to get rid of Santos, but the rest of the Republicans, joined by some group of Democrats, and I can't understand why they joined, except they're looking out for themselves. I think every one of those guys is crooked and is afraid that if they get rid of Santos, people will be able to get rid of them. That's what it seems like to me. And this vote marks the second such failed attempt to remove the congressman, who faces 23 federal charges. Of course, he has pleaded not guilty to them. And those are crooked. Those are stealing money from people. Those are charges of using false credit cards. I mean, he's a con man. The guy is an absolute con man, and he's getting away with it. Jamie Raskin, the Democrat from Maryland, who was among the Democrats who voted against the ouster, said that expelling Santos would have set a terrible precedent because the New York rep has not been found guilty of criminal offenses or ethical violations. You know, being a congressman is a lot like having an ordinary job. It's a very responsible position. You have people's lives at stake. The country's well-being is at stake. So while some people who are accused of a crime but not committed cannot honestly go about their business until they're convicted. But in the case of a congressman, I don't think those rules necessarily apply. I think that Congressman Santos deserves to be sanctioned. He deserves to be suspended. He doesn't have to be fired if you're from doing his deed. And then maybe they should ask the people in his district. Maybe they should ask him to vote on what should be done with him. Last month, a superseding indictment was filed against him, adding 10 charges related to fraudulently inflating his campaign finance reports and charging donors' credit cards without their authorization. So if I even had a complaint by somebody that said he used my credit card without permission, that's enough to suspend the guy. So why do they want to continue to keep him in office? I can understand why the Republicans want to keep him in office, because they need his vote, his precious vote, so they can control Congress. But I can't see any reason for the Democrats to step up, because they have this misguided notion that until you're convicted, you can do your job. But I can tell you, boy, if you had a business and you were running and you were an officer in a business and you got involved in a situation like this, they could fire your ass and you couldn't do anything about it. And that's what should happen to him. He should be fired. He should be barred. He should not be allowed to represent those poor people who voted for him. And I can't imagine how any congressman would stand up and defend his honor, his actions and his honor. I believe that it's the party's responsibility to put up a candidate that's honest and forthright and knows what he can do and can do a responsible job. They let anybody on the debate stage. If you have the money, you can run. And so obviously Santos was allowed to run because he had the money. And he had this money because he was stealing it. And what was the Republican Party doing about that? Nothing. They knew nothing about that. But they allowed him to be on the stage. And that's a major problem in this country. The parties don't vet the candidates. The party should be looking at this guy and making sure that he's an honorable citizen, right? In spite of the fact that he was a thief and not convicted, but charged with so many crimes. And they added 10 more crimes to his arsenal just recently. And yet, he's allowed to continue work. He should have been suspended. Okay, you can't fire him, but you could suspend him. Many businesses, if they are in this situation where they have an employee who is doing wrong things, they can take care of him, and the employee can sue. So why doesn't that happen? Why don't they take care of this guy and suspend him and let him sue Congress to get his job back? How about that? Why don't we treat him like a regular citizen, or like the thief that he is? No, they're going to let him serve. They're going to let him stay in Congress. And it's a disgrace. It's a disgrace. And I'm going to tell you that when they talk about this, when these guys stand up and defend their positions on this situation, they're dead wrong. This guy, Santos, should be in jail already. He should be waiting in jail. He's liable to skip the country because he was stealing money every which way. He had credit card numbers of donors, and he used those credit card numbers to get money illegally. That's thievery at the highest level. So he has 23 different charges against him right now, and he's sitting in Congress. And they won't suspend him. They don't do anything. That shows you how poorly this country is run. And don't tell me that that's the Democratic way, because that should not be the way we do things. I leave you with that.